Welcome to the Seeker's Hollow. I'm Brian, and welcome to this overview of Ryecroft. Ryecroft is a dangerous cemetery crawl location, suitable but deadly for level 1 and above. And this is by Glynn Seal. And I would guess that many of you are familiar with Glynn Seal. He's done some amazing work, usually layouts and maps for many of my favorite games in recent times. For example, Gods of the Forbidden North and Dolmenwood, just to name a few. And I want to thank Glynn very much for sending this over to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. I'm very happy to take a look at it and to show it to you as well. And I'm also very excited to play Ryecroft. And if after today's overview you want to see more of Ryecroft, you can actually see it being played, albeit solo, in my Dolmenwood campaign that is going on now. My character has actually picked up an adventure hook for Ryecroft a few episodes back, and they've been gearing up and making their way over there, and they should be going there within the next episode. And I'll update the title and thumbnail for those so that you can jump right to the Ryecroft episodes if you would like to see those. But you can also, I would also encourage you to check out the whole series if you would like to see it. And Ryecroft really fits quite wonderfully into Dolmenwood. And as I said, Glynn Seal himself has worked on Dolmenwood as well, so it's a lot of compatibility there. But anyway, let's take a look at Ryecroft, and you can see that this is for old school essentials. And we've got the cover art here, really great art. I like it very much. Very evocative of the location. And so let's open it up and take a look. We've got our credits here: writing, layout, and cartography by Glynn Seal, and then the artwork, John Hodgson, Juan Ochoa, and also Glynn Seal. So it's an OSR adventure called a cemetery crawl, and that's something that really captivated me when I first saw Ryecroft, because the idea of doing a hex crawl through a cemetery, I think, is a really cool idea. And I don't know if it's been done before or not. I'm certainly no expert on all the different adventure things that are in TTRPGs, but this is the first one that I have seen that takes kind of a pretty small location that could all be located within just one portion of one hex in your larger world map, and turns that area into its own little hex crawl. So it's a very cool concept and idea. And another thing that you'll see here is that Ryecroft has many different detailed hexes and many different detailed sites within those hexes, and many different tables as well. And I have to say, the tables in here are pretty awesome. There's really, really cool tables, and there's so many different things that you can find. And naturally, a cemetery lends itself to being able to find lots of different valuables and interesting items among the dead and buried, obviously. So, all right, let's keep going on here. And yeah, you can see we've got a bestiary. We've got a bunch of different locations. We've got a bunch of different tables, and there are many, many different aids and things that you can use with Ryecroft, which I'll be showing you as well. So there's a lot of other things that go along with just the book. You've also got different maps, and you've got some different other collectibles books, and you also have cards, and you also have GM inserts, and I will be showing you more of those shortly. All right, so we kind of get into some introduction now. Glynn also has a setting that is called the Midderlands that he has created, and it's a very cool setting, also something that I want to show you guys in the future. And he has some information here on how you could set Ryecroft into the Midderlands if you'd like to do that, even providing you a suggested location. And this is really nice, of course, if you're going to be playing it in the Midderlands, and it's also really nice if you're going to be playing it in a different system or on a different world, because it kind of gives you an idea of kind of how to place things that makes sense. And I'm kind of using this, sort of rough placement like this to put it in inside of Dolmenwood. So we've got some history and timeline. to kind of provide some context for what this location is. Got some more of the beautiful art here. I like this art very much. And these locations are actually represented on your map. Like you've got your monastery abbey here, and like over here you've got this monument location here. I don't know if you could see all that in the camera there, but it's very cool how accurately things are represented here. And then you also have a village nearby Ryecroft, so you've got two different, like, very detailed separate locations within the Ryecroft book. You also have the village of Woodchurch Eaton, and you've got different services and different NPCs and people that you can interact with there to kind of help you, give you a little launching pad and a little base as you make your forays into Ryecroft. So it's nice that you have that. Got your whole table of adventure hooks here, I think about 20 different ones. And these are very cool. There's a lot of different variety, and I was able to find one of these that I could use for my characters in Dolmenwood that lined up very well with my ongoing adventure there. So that's really nice to see. And so cemetery, there's a lot of different information about the cemetery. You've got your information about how to do your crawl through the cemetery. You've got your information about the terrain. And there really is a lot of variety actually in the terrain and things like that. And that's something that makes the hex crawl portion so interesting. And you all that know me, like, you know that I love hex crawls, and you know that I love crawling through the terrain, and I love hex maps and all that. So these kind of unique and cool aspects of this are really interesting to me. And I love all these details about how you go about hex crawling. And there's quite some unique aspects to this that I have not really seen in other hex crawls. So a very cool thing, and that's something that I look forward to playing. And also with the grave sites, you have this thing called desecration. So it can be very addictive, I think, to loot the grave sites, because you've got these really great tables for the different grave sites, and there's so many different pieces of loot that you can find at these sites. But you also have to worry about, if you desecrate too many of these sites, you collect these desecration points. So there's this risk reward and balance between, how many grave sites can I desecrate and look for loot. But you're also going to be possibly bringing down a bunch of curses and bad things on yourself by building up these desecration points. And really the whole area itself might be hating you for the fact that you've desecrated all these places. And then you have a very extensive collectibles as well. And this is something that is really cool, that I feel like I haven't seen too much. And there's this really encourages you to get out and look for these things, because these collectibles are kind of all over the place. And I think it can be very addictive to put these all together. Like in this case, you're trying to rebuild this broken stained glass. And these are called the blue glass shards. And I'm sure there's going to be some really cool things that happen, as you build this thing and put it together. And it could have some major effects on the area. And you've also got Bones of the Saint and Tombs of the Lost Crescent. So there's many different things that you can collect. All of these are different collectibles that you can put together. And I'm sure there's some very cool effects and benefits and things that will happen to the area. And then Ryecroft itself also has many different factions. So you've got some cool things going on with the factional warfare, the Maggotkin, the Wormkin, and the Woodlings. And one thing that's very cool about Ryecroft is it really kind of subverts your expectations in a lot of ways. You'd probably be expecting to have lots of skeletons and zombies and ghosts and things like that. But Ryecroft really mixes it up by giving you some very different enemies than you would normally expect. And there's a real theme around like insects and things that eat the dead, and it's very interesting. And that is all tied into the lore and things that are going on. So here is where you've got all your different detailed sites and things that are going on in the hexes. You have your approach as you're approaching Ryecroft, very spooky. And then you've got all your different locations within the cemetery. And this is where things get really cool, because there's many, many, many different gravestones and, different tombs and memorials and things like that. And all of them are going to have some kind of unique thing going on with them, and unique loot tables and all kinds of stuff like that. And some of them are specifically numbered and can be found like right here in the book, but some of them are made for you to randomly roll, and you've got random tables for rolling every one of these grave sites, and they're really cool. I've rolled a few of them myself, and it's very fun actually rolling like what's going to be on the headstone, who's lying there, what was their background, and then what does their gravestone look like, and then also what kind of loot you might find there. So all of that is very cool. Another nice piece of art there, and there's all your bestiary here. Lots of cool looking and unique things to find. And oh yeah, look at that. That's some pretty terrifying stuff. Very insect inspired. I love these maggots and stuff crawling out onto the page. So very cool and charming and horrifying all at once. Don't think I've ever seen a worm mancer before. That's really cool. So all right, and then you've got a little bit of magic and stuff like that. Some appendices, some really cool, as I said, some really cool tables and things. And but I want to show you the other tools and resources that you have. So you also have this memorials record, and this is the player facing map, but you also have a game master's map, and in here you're going to have every site is going to be numbered. So every single one of these little memorials and gravestones and tombs are all numbered, and you have some that have red numbers and some that have white numbers. And what you're going to find is the ones that have red numbers are going to have their own page reference in the book, and they're going to have special pre-written details and maybe even some quest significant information or lore significant information that are going to go with those, and of course their own like custom tables and things for what you might find there. But then you're going to find some that do not have any page reference. So like if we were to go to like 180, because every one of these is numbered, if we were to go to 180, this pedestal tomb, there's no page reference there. So what you would do in that case is you could roll your own generate your own gravestone and all the things going on with that. Or you also have a card deck here, and in this card deck you have I think it's around 100 something different. These are random ones that are pre-generated for you, and they do not have a memorial number, so you can match them up with the memorial numbers as you explore, and you can use it for that one and use it for that one. So all your memorial numbers that don't already have their own reference in the pages, you can use these, and these are really cool. So just to give you an idea of what you've got on here, so this one is like in memory of Lauren Harris, and then you've got 1320 to 1408, aged 88, and it's telling you that the headstone is written in the common language, and there's an alternative pet name of Zed the dog. Type and material, so this is a mausoleum made of beige sandstone. Some smaller details, there are mosaics of colored tile, design motifs, roses, offerings, a rusty shield. So someone has placed a rusty shield on this tomb. And then you've got your grave goods. Now this is where you're probably going to be really tempted to roll on this and look for some nice loot, but that's also where you're going to be collecting those desecration points and possibly bringing curses on yourself. But if you look here, you can roll on this 1d6 table, and you can find different things here, like a +1 sling stones, an idol, 4 citrines, or a potion of gaseous form. And so every single one of these is going to have its own special loot table, and it's really cool that you've got all of this stuff. And I'm sure it could get very addictive to go through all these, and some of them are also kind of funny and interesting, so it makes it very charming and kind of a refreshing thing to go through and check out all these headstones. Very cool concept that I have not really seen anything quite like that. So let's look at the Game Master's inserts, and you've got just a plethora of inserts. I think there's around 20 or something more inserts here, and it's really cool when you have such well done tools for the Game Master. So here you've got like all of your adventure hooks all right here on one sheet. And then you've got all your information about how to do your hex crawling, how to do your movement. And then, of course, the encounters that can happen, you know, lots of different monsters and things that could, of course, be attacking you. You've got daytime, nighttime encounters when you're along the water, explaining how you go through the hexes. And then here you've got all these different numbered locations. All these ones have your page references. And you've got flowers, plants, and herbs. So you've got just all kinds of special tables here. And then you have your whole bestiary is right here. So you can quickly reference everything in your bestiary. That's really incredible, really nice to see. And so you got 2 full pages of bestiary there. And then you've got your explanation of how the desecration points work, disturbing the dead, and then atonement. So you also have a way as well to try to kind of make up for the misdeeds and desecration that you may have done to the grave sites. Information about all your different collectibles. And then this goes through and shows you how to generate your own memorials. So you can go here and you can just roll on all these. And it's really a lot of fun. Like I said, I've already done about 2 or 3 of these myself, and it's a lot of fun. And it's quite addicting, actually, to roll these up. And really just a fun thing that you could kind of sit there and do and enjoy that. And it'll give you a very detailed result. Basically, something like what you get, you know, from one of these cards as well. And so, and again, if you didn't want to roll all these yourself, then you have the card deck, and the card deck will give you a whole bunch of ones that are pre-generated. So continuing on through here, now here's where you've got some different loot tables. So like if you're looking around in the river, you can kind of look through the debris in the river, and you've got these huge loot tables, all kinds of stuff going on there, some really cool art. So just amazing set of Game Master inserts. And then we can looking here at the Game Master's map. On the back side of the Game Master's map, you also have a huge subterranean location. So as you can see, this is a pretty large adventure site, even though it's basically just a cemetery. You've got all kinds of stuff that you can search through, and then you also have your record for your collectibles, so you can keep track of all your collectibles that you found, and there's quite a lot of them to find. And again, this is really cool, I think, how this drives the exploration through this collectibles, and all of these things do have an important effect on the world when you discover them. So that's going to about do it for this overview of Ryecroft. And once again, as I said, if you want to see more about Ryecroft, I am going to be playing this on the channel very soon. It should be like literally the next episode that I put up for my Dolanwood playthrough. The characters are going to be going into Ryecroft, and we're going to be spending some good time there and checking everything out. So I hope you've enjoyed this overview of Ryecroft, and definitely check it out. I think it's just really very unique and really refreshing, and I was very happy to find Ryecroft, and I hope you will be too. So thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care.